Okay, I'm gonna try and get out what I gotta say. Background music helps me stay focused. All Fool's Day. And if you try and research it, there's not much information you can find on it. Because it's been occulted from us for reasons. My Joker, resonation with Joker was kind of my whole life. Ever since I can't remember. Ever since he made more sense to me than Batman. And then, if we're gonna discuss, jesters, fools, actually I meant to bring my Fool tarot card just for visual purposes. We can just bring the masks. That's got to do with it. The entertainers, the observers, the jokesters, tricksters. The first one was Loki. Well, that we really have record of. There's tricksters throughout all cultures. The Native Americans, the Mayans, they all had different names for their trickster god. I'm familiar with Loki because it's in my DNA memory. I can interpret the memories on my DNA, especially the ancient ones. And so when I tried to do articles through the years on the history of All Fool's Day, April Fool's Day, and found nothing, I went within more and more, digging for the truth of it, and into the Akash more for the truth, because there's no information really out there. Basically, all the articles you find don't go back very far, and it is ancient. It's ancient. This day is 4/1, which is 5. Not sure why I brought that into there, but if you have ears to hear that, then hear. The fact that Loki got his demigod status had to do with the fact that the community, these were all real people, they're just so ancient that there's, people that are going to tell you it's myth. It's fine. His tricks and games annoyed people, but then there were times that it saved them. Then there were times that his quick thinking and his wit saved people and things and crops. And so he was given value within the community and told that although he was a pain in the ass, he was also very important and loved. And over time, as humanity has evolved and grown in cultures of the medieval times, if you don't know Alan Watts' lecture on the Joker and the role of the Joker, there's actually a few, but the first one is the more important. It's one that I reference back to often. It's one that changed my life. In the description on YouTube, I'm going to reference it. I'll comment it on some other social platforms too, if you can't find it, but it's easily found on YouTube. He was talking about the role of the jester in court and how he was to observe and perform and entertain, especially in trying times. Morale boost. And the Joker, the jester, the fool, was the only one that was allowed to go around the castle unabated and to wander around. So even the king can't do that. The king would have to have guards, and no, you don't really have much freedom as a king or a queen. But the Joker would be able to wander. Jester was free. A lot of times I'm sure the kings or queens would switch roles, in disguise so that they could wander around their own castle. I can imagine that would have happened. And then there's the Native American cultures where the Heoka in Hopi, the sacred fool, is every tribe had one in Native cultures. If you look through all cultures, they have the sacred fool. Well, medieval times stopped. There's no more kings and queens, and it all turned to governments. And who took the role of the observer, the joker, the jester, the morale booster, the entertainment. Let me just say, it might be all over the place, but Melpomene herself was a muse. She had sisters, the 7 sisters, the muses. They were the feminine sacred fools, entertainers, put on stage during celebration and trying times. And Melpomene's the goddess of tragedy. So, it's a very rich culture that has been occulted from us and replaced with Hollywood, replaced with, thank God for the internet, now people are being able to find who they want to listen to and who they don't want to listen to, and follow who they want to follow. And that's both a blessing and a curse for humanity. You have to make everything's medicine and poison. And this is why I didn't reference a lot of articles here and do a lot of research for this, because I just wanted to come from my instinct and what I've pulled from the Akash. Because there's not much information about it, and obviously from philosophy and from watching everyone do what they do and figuring out who also is a sacred fool. And it's important to know that we all have that archetype within us. It's why it's a tarot card. And we play the sacred fool at some point in our life, starting a new job. It's new beginnings. I actually found it really funny that it is the day after Easter. It's Easter Monday and happens to be All Fool's Day on top of that. And it is the year of the dragon. So, if you think about it, let me just philosophize. If you think about it, what would have happened to these people that would have been the sacred fool, the jester, the joker, whatever it was called in whatever culture, what would become of that after governments took over? Mind controllers, because that's what government is in Latin. What would happen to them? What would they turn into? Maybe they'd have to put on masks to hide. Maybe they'd be hunted because they felt fear in a little bit of a different way. This is why I did it, from my instinct. Because I want to put, reference the Alan Watts lecture for you. I'm going to link you to a few different pieces of information I've found from within the truther occult community. Those of us who are interested in symbolism and what role that plays in our subconscious. And I don't know, it just kind of felt right to just sit here and talk about it and get it off my chest, since as many years that I've wanted to say things about this and I didn't have enough clarity within my logical mind to put words out in the ether on it. Just pondered it, and I mostly want to hear what y'all think, and start discussion on it, because this is supposed to be a day to celebrate us, and I think that a lot of us gravitate towards each other without even realizing it. I mean, the Joker doesn't perform in the circus, the clowns do. The Joker he's the one who's the ringleader. He's the one who's sitting back and watching. You know, he might blow some fire from time to time. Thank you for listening. I love you all.